Well, hello, beautiful people. It is your host on the coast, coming to you today with a reading I want to do on Madonna, the singer, the dancer, and bitch. I'm Madonna. Let's get started. All right, strap yourselves in. It might be a bumpy ride. I was going to do the reading with the Dreamkeeper's Tarot, but I'm not feeling that is appropriate. I'm just not. So I'm going to be using my Spellcaster's Tarot. My Spellcaster's Tarot is very intense. It is just a compendium of everything. So let's get started with that. Let me just move the camera over here a little bit. Give myself a little bit of room here. Move all of my candles. Let's move those candles out of the way. And let's get started with this. I have opinions, and I am an opinionated person. And I'm okay with that. So if you want an opinion, you are in the right place, baby. Let's get started. I'm having a lot of curiosity about her recent tour. And I do have some curiosities also too about her demographics. I don't think there are too many women anymore. I'd love to know what her actual demographics are. But when I look at the crowds at this 2023 tour she's been doing in Europe, I don't see very many women in the audience. I don't think Madonna is necessarily loving the fact that she's aging, and as has her audience aged. If you look at some other stars like Mick Jagger, they're able to attract a younger crowd. Madonna, I don't see a lot of younger people, and I want to talk about the demographics, and I'm hoping that this is not a controversial issue, but I'm not seeing very many women in her audience, and I'm mostly seeing gay guys of a certain age. She's 65. She is a contemporary of mine, as was Prince, as was Michael Jackson. Whitney, I think also too, but maybe just a little bit younger. Madonna has managed to survive for a long time. I know she's been very open that she doesn't really drink or do drugs, although you do notice lately in the last 10 or so years, she has made more of a big scene about drinking on stage and has a couple public drunken scenes that whatever you want to call them, on stage getting drunk. So I'm just thinking that her demographics changed when she first came out. She was the love of every young girl. Every young girl wanted to be like Madonna. I even myself one year had a Halloween costume that was kind of a cross between Madonna and Cyndi Lauper. So there you go. I don't feel her demographics stayed with her the same. I don't think she's attracting a younger audience. I think her hardcore base is gay men of a certain age, and if she's bringing in any new fans, it would be gay men, younger gay men. I also noticed when I looked at her dancers, I don't believe there is a natural female in the bunch. I don't believe there's a real woman in the bunch. There's a lot of transgender people, but I don't believe there is a biological, real, whatever you want to call it, there is a reality we must face, people, woman as any of her dancers. Check me if I'm wrong, but that is my assumption. So I don't feel she has kept up with the times in a lot of ways because her demographics are skewed to one thing. Before I believe she really had mass appeal. In fact, I think the majority of her audience when she first started out was young women. I remember her first album cover. I was blown away. That black and white album cover. Do you remember that? So I'm just curious as to what's going on with Madonna world. She has more affected a look of herself of a transgender male or person. How would I say? A man who wants to be a woman, to look like a woman. I feel she's more moved into that realm. When you look at her, it is looking almost, because she has distorted all her features. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to do a reading here on Madonna. There's so much to do with her biological children, than the children who really are her children as well. They're not her biological children. She adopted them. There's 4 of them. Plus she has the 2 bio babies. I'm seeing tension there. They want to be like in the shows all the time and stuff like that. In many ways, Madonna's turned into sort of the Von Trapp family. The Hills Are Alive, the Sound of Music family, where everybody in that family, you're either playing in the band or you're out. I don't think that son wants anything to do with it. He more aligns with his father. I'm getting resistance from the daughter. Now Madonna has these 4 children who have no male figure, no father at all, so they're completely bonded to her. Plus the whole thing of taking them out of destitute childhoods. They weren't born into wealth. Okay, I want to do a reading on her. I am going to do let's do the Celtic cross so we can get a broad overview of what's happening. We're going to do the Celtic cross on Madonna, where she is right now, what's happening with her on this tour. You also have the incidents of injuries that she's now facing, the reality of age. I'm not sure that she's quite understanding that. I also want to do a whole video on the plastic surgeries she's had and how that really, really affects you down the line, what that does to your body. Let's cut the deck. We're doing this reading about Madonna and her recent concert tour, what's going on with her in relation to that. Okay, I'm going to pull the first card. Whoa. I'm hoping we're not going to have a bunch of upside down cards here. I really don't want that. Let's see. Let's see. Got to make some room here. Yep. Everything is... I think this is probably... I'm going to say this is the hardest tour she's ever done in her life. But she wants the cash. Final outcome is this tour is all about the money. So let's see what's going on. There is really no joy in this tour if you look at it. Seems to be a robot could have done just as well as of a job as she is doing right now. It's been very hard in a lot of ways for her. It's been a hard tour for her. All right, let's start out with the first card, the basis of the matter, which is the King of Swords. The basis of the matter is the King of Swords. This is being above all. I'm not sure the light on this is very good. Hold on a second, and I'm going to turn off a light, and I'll be right back. Okay, that's a little bit better. The basis of the matter is hubris, and I'm going to do this because I'm the king. She does channel a tremendous amount of masculine energy, and always has. Madonna has always channeled and has appeared. You would not say that, oh, she is hyper feminine. She channels a tremendous amount of male energy. And the basis of the matter is I'm going to do this no matter what. Continue with the reading. Had some technical glitches there, but I'm back. Let's look at that first card, the basis of the matter. The basis of the matter is I am going to do this no matter what happens. I'm the king. I'm moving forward. I'm doing this tour no matter what, because it's what I want to do. And no matter what I have to do, I am doing this tour. Now, what crosses this, be it for good or evil, is the sun, the shining star. So this is super powerful right here. You've got the King of Swords covered by the sun. This could be an absolute catastrophe, or this could be what makes it really happen. You've got a person who's got such drive. Most of us don't experience it. We can't understand it. We're happy staying at home, maybe playing with our kittens, taking our dogs for a walk, baking a cake, doing these things. Madonna is not like that. She is extremely driven to get this word out, whatever this word is, this word about herself, these songs, the physicality of her, of the way she looks. And what you've got here is a drive to do this concert right here. I am the king. We are going to do this come hell or high water. And what crosses her is really the ability to do it at all costs, which is the sun. Let me just pull out a few keywords from the book. So some key words for the sun are abundance, children, delight, sunny weather, all the good things that you can imagine is the bringer of the light. The reversed is children need to be made more of a focus and priority. A measure of success is gained. A child is angry at the parent. So I'm getting more of that feeling. There's a lot to do with her and this tour and her children. I'm putting a crystal on that. Maybe we can send some healing in that. We all have issues with our children. Now, the basis of the matter is the world. She is a woman who wants the world. I don't think your mom names you Madonna. That is her real name. Without assuming you're going to do some conquering of the world. The Madonna, the Virgin. That's basically Jesus's incarnation on this. God's mother, basically, right? So the basis of the matter is she wants it all. It doesn't matter to her the age. She has master magicians, healers, people who can come around and, take care of her and fix this and fix that. So she feels she can overcome all and she can have the world. That is the basis of the matter. Next turn of events is the Emperor. Almost akin to the devil, right? The Emperor. The aspect of the Emperor is where we have so much masculine energy. King of Swords, right next to it is the Emperor. I'm going to be reading, a lot of times I do not, but I am going to be reading these cards reversed. So the reversed, of course, of the world is wanting it so bad at the expense of everything else. And your motivation could be crass, is what I'm getting from that. That was reversed. Now, this is next turn of events. This also can signify an impotency. This is the Emperor. Look at that. A masculine male sexuality. She has surrounded herself with all males on this tour. Even though they are transgender, the biology, they are still males. So next turn of events might be something rather dramatic. This card is a card also too of hubris. I'm going to be pushing forward no matter what. It also signifies a kind of a misuse of power. So this is the next, not next turn of events. This is an issue that is passing away. and it was reversed, so that is passing away. This over here is next turn of events. Sorry for me screwing up this morning. It's been kind of a weird morning. I am getting the reading, but there's some weirdness happening here. This is an issue. This is what's passing away. Maybe in the reverse aspect, it represents the ultimate sexual power. It is reversed. Something's going on there. We might see this playing out in real time. Okay, highest ideal. The highest ideal is the King of Cups, which should be the overflowing generosity. That should be the highest ideal here. I'm not sure if that is being attained or not. So the highest ideal here is, maybe it is a life well lived. If she continues at this pace with this type of a tour, I'm not sure she can continue. This might be her last tour. The highest ideal here is just that life well lived. Next turn of events. Let's get to the next turn of events. Wow, so many of these, not the higher arcana here. We've got the King of Swords, the King of Cups, the King of Pentacles. Let's see if there's any other kings. No. The next turn of events is the King of Pentacles. My sense about this tour is, aside from her wanting to, the basis of the matter, own the world and just have this penultimate thing, this penultimate concert going on, the next turn of events, she really, really wants this to be a huge payload for her. For some reason, money is not enough for her. It's the power, it's the fame, it's the glory, it's wanting to be the number one. Let's read a little bit from the book about the King of Pentacles. This is the next turn of events. Some keywords for the King of Pentacles are abundance, prosperity, success in business and at home, having a good business. You also have to remember, too, her going out on tour, that's her business. And she wants her business to be a success. That's the main thing. She wants this business to grow and thrive. And maybe by bringing all her children along on this tour, except for the oldest son, Rocco, who's not performing in the tour, I don't believe that her first child, Lourdes, is also performing. But that's, 2 out of 6. The rest of them are. She might be wanting to establish this as a family domain, a family business. A stubbornness, financial help, and establish success that can be trusted to provide a means of support. So I think in many ways this concert is very, very important for her. Like I established at the beginning, I'm just getting so much of a feeling that this is important to the family, to her family, to those, especially those last 4 kids. That was reversed. It's important to her and those last 4 kids. She wants to give them a career. So as we go along, let's look at what we have. This is you. This is your environment. This is your hopes and fears. Of course, coming back to the kids. And this is the final outcome. What I see primarily here is money, 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 money. It's a lot to do with money. So this is her. This is her. This is the Page of Pentacles. And that is the bringer of messages about money. And I think this tour is solely focused not so much on herself, but really trying to do that family thing. Bring all those kids into the fold. I believe she had the 2 youngest daughters dancing. of the four, the oldest boy in that group dancing, and then the other girl playing piano. So it is the Sound of Music, a modern day Sound of Music Von Trapp family. She is trying to create here. That's what I'm seeing. This is the environment. Giving alms, paying homage, giving to her children. As she's doing this tour, she might feel a bit martyred. She might know this is going to possibly be her last tour. This is her, this is environment, this is her hopes and fears, which is, you can see, you've got the family looking on in a happy, happy thing. I don't quite think there's that harmony going on there. She's essentially got two families. It's almost, even though she had no bio male at the time, she had this second family. It's almost like she's created a second family with these other four kids, even though she didn't get married. Usually you consider a second family would be if you have a male and a female or any kind of a marriage. She adopted all these children pretty much on her own. So she is the everything to them. And I do believe there is division and strife in that family. This is the hopes and fears. There's quite a lot. I think she has a lot of hopes and fears because after she goes, what's going to happen with these 6 children? We don't live forever. Here we have the final outcome. What I'm finding interesting as we go along the ladder on the right side, we're having all of the children. 2, 4, 6. So we have all the children represented, and the final outcome is her giving alms, her as the bringer and the giver, and it is also the 6 of her 6 children. And we also here have 2 6 of Cups. Maybe her environment is more of a struggle with the 2 that are not quite connected to the other 4. This is a very interesting reading because I'm really getting the information coming through about all the children, and what this tour really is about is for her and her children. And the final outcome is her being the giver as we come back to this one also too. Here, the giver of all things good. She wants to be seen, especially in her family, as the benevolent one, the one who's giving all to the children, the giver of all that is good. Outside from wanting the world to see her that way, even though, bitch, I'm Madonna, she does want to be seen as the benevolent giver of all things good. That is the basis of the matter here, but it is skewed because there is a crassness also going on and a desire for huge and vast amounts of wealth. Like I said before, most of us don't have that type of desire, but a person like Madonna has put herself out there for whatever reason, and it must be very scary at times. Always kind of tempting fate, tempting the devil, and we do have an influence that is passing away here that is about being that super strong, sexy, vital, virile person, and it is also reversed. I'm not sure how these cards are coming out. There's a lot of shine on here. So my overview, let me stand up to get an overview on this. My overview on these cards is there is so much, especially as you're climbing the ladder over here. Let me move that a little bit. As you're climbing the ladder, you're really seeing how much this has to do with money, 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 worldly power, sexuality, being the center, being the star, being the sun. but the most that you're getting is this kind of a financial security. Now, I'm sure she owns property. She's probably fabulously wealthy, but for some reason, once is never enough. And she's really wanting to provide for her brood into infinity. And she's also trying to give them a place in the world right now, a career that they can jumpstart from. They do seem to be talented. The boy, the oldest boy, he does seem to be able to dance. I'm not saying none of them are talented. It just, this never turns out to be quite as well as you would want it to be. Maybe the least two talented are the bio kids, right? But the girls can dance very well, and the girl can play the piano. So they do have talent. That's not my point. My point is, I think she's trying to provide in perpetuity really for all her kids. And the final outcome here is giving alms. Now, let's read a little bit about the Six of Pentacles and the traditional meaning of giving alms to the poor, which was the meaning of this card. Now, the traditional meaning of this card was giving alms to the poor, meaning a charitable works that you do openly and maybe in a public setting. That is what the traditional meaning of the card is. Let's see what the spellcaster says. A gift of money, compassion, and charity. Charity for the sake of impressing each other, making a show of one's benevolence, and carefully weighing what is spent, being fed up with the expenses or with people asking for charity, doing something nice out of pity for another, one who gives only what they must, being in a position of inequality and submission. When your mama has so much money and fame, the kids don't usually benefit from this in the way one would hope. Just historically, when you look at this, when the kids themselves then get in the public eye, it just doesn't translate. It doesn't translate, and it never turns out well for the children. So I'm seeing a lot of her wanting to do the right things for these kids, but a lot of times that's just going to boomerang on you. I think she might have done better to get the kids focused on some of the more traditional careers, maybe working behind the scenes. That's my opinion. This is what I think. Working behind the scenes. It's not too often you're going to have, I'm going to try and point out someone here I think made that transition and spanned that gap, and that's going to be Liza with a Z. She really, I'm not going to say she surpassed her mom, Judy Garland. That would be almost impossible, because Judy Garland really did have that voice. There's no denying it. That lady had the voice. And Liza, for many, many years, also had the voice too. And the dancing. I'm going to say those two were on equal footing. But that is rare in Hollywood. That is rare in the art world, painting, music. It doesn't usually happen. The kids get left behind, and there's a lot of hurt feelings. So it will be interesting in years from now to see how this all plays out. I'm not a huge Madonna fan. I never was. I always, in my younger days, like I said, we're fairly contemporaries. I admired her chutzpah and the beginnings of her artistic flair I really liked. But I think she's just gotten way out there anymore, and I'm not sure who her demographics is that she's appealing to or who's going to her shows. I'm not really having an understanding on that. I know she tried to do acting, but she just doesn't have it for acting. That's just a fact. And directing, it's not. She's not a Streisand. Now there's another extreme talent. Barbra Streisand can really act the hell out of a scene. The lady can, she can pretty much dance. She's danced, not like Madonna, but she can sing. Oh my God, the voice of an angel. and she really can direct. So she had it all, but these things are rare. Madonna really was always good on stage. And I think it's been a very, very hard transition for her with all of the illnesses that's gone on with her body get older and having the things break down. It's not easy. There is no magic bullet. There's no magic cure. And just as an aside, I'm going to bring up the fact of either the butt implants, or I believe she had a fat transfer. That's my opinion. I think she had a fat transfer when she was living. I'm not sure, was that in Spain? She said her son was going to have a soccer career. Don't know what happened with that. And she was eating all this pasta. I thought, that's not the Madonna I know whose self-discipline could be her middle name. Madonna self-discipline Cicciarone, or however she pronounces that last name. I believe she gained all that weight to have it harvested and then injected in the rear flank. That's my opinion. And it's obvious she had a butt, not a buttectomy, but I don't know the official, what do they call that? I don't know. Just to be crude, it's fat injections in the butt. It's obvious to anybody. I think that's when a lot of the injuries started occurring, because she displaced her center of gravity. She used to have a very lithe, used to be what's called a boyish figure. She was very slim-hipped, very thin, very athletic body. She could jump around that stage. Whew, she was amazing. Then, I'm going to say maybe 7 years ago or so, she got the center of gravity switched. Her center of gravity switched, and that's, I think, when all the injuries started coming. Okay, I think I've got this reading has been all over the place. I hope you were able to follow it some. It's all about money and power, name recognition, being an actual Madonna on planet Earth, giving alms to the poor, being the sun, doing the tour, even though people might have told her, this tour is not wise to do right now. So that's what this reading is about. I'm sorry it was all over the place, but there's a lot of information here. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. The information was coming at me so fast, it's almost like I couldn't contain it. This is your host on the coast, coming to you from somewhere off the coast of nowhere.